Just picture this. Close your eyes, right? Um, look at look at this triple blackness that is literally in your dream. This dark void, right? This black void. Now imagine 9 divided circles in this dark void, okay? They're still black, but they are spread apart evenly, okay? When you actually have this picture in your mind, now imagine these 9 divided circles changing color, which is your esoteric color, from magenta to red. You got magenta, you got purple, then you have blue, another color blue, then you have green, then you have yellow, then you have orange, and then red. And after red, just imagine that that red turns into what we like to call the white light. This white light represents a phase, right? It represents a phase or a frequency of thought, right? These 9 divided white light are feminine light. These are feminine lights of intelligence. Okay, because remember what the feminine forces are. The feminine forces are basically the thought process, and then the masculine is basically the enforcer to enforce that thought into a manifestation. So bear with me. So with these 9 divided feminine lights, right, they actually take pieces of each other and create 9 more lights. And then those 9 lights create 9 more lights until you have 27 feminine lights of intelligence. 27 of them. Now, this represents the 3, the 6, and the 9, which is the most important numbers of the cosmos, right? Because if you take a look at the number 27, there's 2 ways on how you can be able to get 3 9 that add up to 27. There's 2 ways you could be able to look at it. You could do 9 plus 9 plus 9. That's 27, right? But you could also look at it like this. 9 plus 9 equals 18, right? 8 plus 1 equals 9, right? Then you add another 9, that's 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. So I just gave you 2 ways on how to get 3 9. 3 plus 3 equals 6. The 3, the 6, and the 9, right? So let's keep going. The frequency that they were on, right? The phase that they were on was starting to get chaotic. Why? Because the balance was not there. It was too much feminine energy. So in order for the balance to be perfect, they had to create masculine lights of intelligence. But how many though? These 27 feminine lights created 24 masculine lights. This is what I like to call 24 scientists, right? Or 24 masters or 24 elders. Okay. Now, if you do the math on this, you have 2 plus 7 equals 9. Then you have 2 plus 4 equals 6. 9 times 6 equals 54. 5 plus 4 equals 9. Or you could do backwards. 5 minus 4 equals 1. Right? That's how you get 19. 19th galaxy. All right? Stay with me. Now, these 27 feminine lights told the 24 masculine lights to be fruitful and multiply. And when you multiply, we will judge it based on how good it is. Verbatim. These 24 scientists, these 24 lights, masculine lights, decided to create all of the elements that exist, which is the known elements that we know in the periodic table and the unknown elements that we're still trying to figure out till this day, that are way beyond our dimension, that is way beyond our comprehension. And they took all of these elements and have created formats and places in each phase of matter. They've created formations of beings, right? What beings would look like in every single phase. They've created stars, galaxies in a lot of different phases, right? They've created a lot of shapes, things of that nature, which is nothing but elements. That's how you get the galaxies and the constellations and the different type of planets. That's how you get the, suns and the moons and different types of ships that they build and all of this other galactic stuff that we actually know. All of these galactic species that we know, right? We get all of this stuff based on the beginning. And this is only my beginning, right? This is what I see what the beginning is based on what makes sense to me. If you know this doesn't make sense to you, then don't even consider what I'm saying, right? Just understand it. My truth might not be everybody else's truth, but it's still my truth at the end of the day, so I'm gonna keep going with it. And the only reason why I say what I say about the lights, right, is because when you think about something in your head, right, that there's a reason why And everything that you watch, right, as far as cartoon, right? If a person or a character in a cartoon has a great idea, what's the first thing that's gonna pop up over their head? A light bulb, right? That's because there is a phase of matter to where your thoughts are reality, right? It's just to the point where if you believe that those thoughts are capable of happening, then it will happen to you later on in life if you keep imagining this shit over and over and over again. You have the power to actually manifest something based on your thoughts alone, because your thoughts is a light. It's a certain type of frequency that you can reach every single time you put that into the atmosphere. Light carries a certain type of frequency, and we could be able to tap into it just by the basis of a thought, right? A picture in our heads. That's the reason why a lot of people say be careful of what you think about, right? Negative thoughts can cause negative action. Positive thoughts can cause positive action. That's the reason why they tell people to think positive, right? But this phase of light that I'm talking about came in the beginning because there was nothing but phases, because there was nothing but matter in the beginning. Everything else came, right? Everything else came when the Supreme Souls came and decided to actually create elements that actually form manifestations in creation. This is just how I look at my beginning. You could look at your beginning in a different light, right? Because a lot of people look at the four elements and saying, oh, well, we come from the four elements. Well, how the fuck did the four elements exist, right? How did the four elements exist? Because the four elements that people are talking about, right, only exist in the Allah physical body, right? It only exists in here because in the physical body you have heat, you have water, right? You breathe in air, which what I believe is called hydrogen instead of oxygen, because I feel like oxygen is a chemtrail that they spray and pollute in the air, right? And you also have dirt in you. That's the reason why when you get dirty, right, and you haven't washed up in days, you can't be able to see the dirt until you get under the shower or until you take a bath, and the dirt would be in the tub. All that dirt in your body you can't see unless you actually wash it off. That's because we are actually made out of dirt. So they're right when they say that we are made out of fire, water, earth, and air, right? Because what is the real definition of Earth, right? Everybody thinks that Earth is a planet. Earth can be more than just one planet because Earth is basically a substance of dirt. So if a planet has dirt in it, then that planet is considered an Earth. That's because this planet is not really called Earth. This planet is called multiple names. Gaia, Tiamat, Kai, which is Qui, right? Or Ki, which is Ki, or Chi, which is what we hear in anime all the damn time and don't really know what it means. It's a lot to think about. That's the reason why we are nothing but light when it comes to the etheric phase, right? Which is the ninth phase, which is the highest phase you could be able to go. We are nothing but light beings. But a lot of people think that we could go to a higher phase of matter after nine, and they keep confusing the original nine phases with dimensions and realms. I'm gonna tell you what a dimension and a realm is. A dimension and a realm is basically a phase of matter that is overlapping in between two original phases. So let's say you have the eighth phase and you have the ninth phase. In between those two phases overlap dimensions and realms that you could be able to go to. And this is what we like to call gravity or density, right? And if you can control density, then you can control realms of that particular phase. And another thing about the four elements, right? There's a reason why they call people, soulmates or blue flames or twin flame, not blue flames, but the twin flame, the flame that they're talking about when they're talking about twin flame is the blue flame, right? Because the blue flame is the core of the fire. It's the very first thing that pops up. If you light a match, right, people only pay attention to the top, and the top will have this reddish, yellowish lava type of color, right? But if you look at the bottom, it's blue. This is the same blue flame that is inside this light particle that is right behind your heart. This little light particle that's right behind your heart is your soul. There's a reason why it's a particle. It's because it is the most powerful thing in your body, and it's way bigger. You are a part of something that is way bigger than yourself, right? And this is called a light particle because the light that I'm talking about is dark matter. That's the reason why we have to accept our differences on the outside and accept that we are one on the inside. Because no matter how many times we crossbreed or mix each other's seeds, mix each other's genetics or whatever, right? It just depends on if you have a soul or not. To know that you are one with nature, to know that you are one with the bigger purpose, right? With the bigger light, which is dark matter. And I don't get a lot of people talking about darkness is separate from light when light comes from dark. Think about it. Everything they say that carbon is the basis of light, right? Is the basis of life. Life, not light, Light, but carbon is the basis of life. Everything that gives life, everything that breeds life is color coded. And if you look at pure carbon is black. Now, pure neuromelanin is like a darkish greenish type of color, right? But if we talk about neuromelanin, we're talking about a higher phase here. We're talking about a plasma phase of carbon. But on the physical phase, carbon is definitely black. So if carbon is black and if it's a basis of life, shouldn't everything else that's color coded should be black too? If that's the case, if light is separate from darkness, shouldn't the basis of life, right? If the basis of life is darkness, shouldn't everything else be dark? No, it shouldn't, because light comes from darkness and you see it every single time you pick up a fruit or a vegetable. But this is Euphony the Kepra, once again, spitting my downloads to y'all, and I will definitely see you in the next video.